Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com, and in this video we're looking at a new watch from MIDO with the Decompression Worldtimer. So in this video and on this channel we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as a full authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive on this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end, but also throughout the video if you have further questions or are looking to buy the watch, a link will be in the description down below to the product page. But guys, to jump into the video, take a closer look at this watch. Now, when it comes to MIDO in the broader spectrum of the Swatch group, especially for the enthusiast market, I don't believe it gets its flowers the same way Hamilton, Tissot, and Longines potentially do. Founded in 1918, MIDO enjoys a higher level of popularity and a market share in certain international markets, including Mexico and Latin America, but tends to fly a bit under the radar, at least here in the United States. However, MIDO's product line has a lot to offer as an alternative to more popular options, and frankly is deserving of much more attention. Now, if you're new to the brand, the sporty Ocean Star collection is a great place to start, with history dating back to 1959 and a modern offering including both modern and more heritage-inspired pieces, including the watch you're going to be taking a look at here today. Inspired by the Powerwind 1000 reference 5907 released all the way back in 1961, the MIDO Ocean Star Decompression Worldtimer is the second modern MIDO to lean into the brand's rainbow color decompression calculator dial, with this new version also integrating Worldtimer functionality and being standard production in a stainless steel case that is very wearable. While we often kick a video off like this with a description of the case and wearing experience, which I definitely will want to mention because this is a wearable case at 40.5 millimeters, I want to start here in making an attempt to give some sense to the dial overall. Starting at the center, we have MIDO's decompression calculating scale, which provides specialized functionality for serious divers. Now, taking a step back, when you breathe compressed air or other gases under pressure underwater, nitrogen within the breathing gas is absorbed into the body. The deeper and longer you dive, the more of this gas is absorbed in your tissues. If a diver ascends too rapidly after diving too deep or staying too long, the reduction in pressure upon ascent can cause the absorbed nitrogen to expand into your bloodstream and tissues, causing the potentially life-threatening malady known as the bends or decompression sickness. While most recreational diving doesn't allow for dives that require decompression, serious recreational and professional divers must calculate decompression stops in their ascent where they hang out at certain depths for a given time, allowing the excess nitrogen to off-gas through normal exhalation to avoid the bends. These days, this crucial functionality almost always comes from a diving computer, but in 1961, when MIDO introduced this watch, divers had to do the math themselves. Although I imagine most people don't really care about how this works, I think it is interesting and having some more appreciation for the design of this watch if you do have some sense of it. First, you need to know the maximum depth of your dive, which is represented on the scale at 12 o'clock, with a small table listing meters on the left side and feet on the right. Then you need to track your elapsed time, which you can do by setting the 0 index on the bezel to the minute hand's current position as you begin your dive. You then rotate the colored ring that represents your maximum depth. As you approach the planned end of your dive, you then can travel around the ring using the minute track on the dial's periphery until you find your elapsed time. If that elapsed time falls after the 0 on your depth's color-coded ring, you then locate the next closest printed number, which indicates the length of decompression stop you would need to safely off-gas and continue your ascent. Taking the blue dial variant as an example, let's say you were diving to 30 meters or 95 feet for 25 minutes. We'd follow the green ring that denotes 30 meters or 95 feet around to 25-minute position and find the printed 5 denoting a 5-minute decompression stop. Now, is this going to be something people are going to utilize? No. But there is a method to the madness here, and I think that was part of the reason why I wanted to describe it a little bit more. And with this, of course, being the Worldtimer variant of this model family, we now have to address the other graphical elephant in the room, which is the Worldtime functionality that is also being offered by this busy dial format. To use the Worldtimer, which is made possible in this case by a GMT caliber, you'd simply set the home time zone by pulling the crown to the farthest position and aligning the red 24-hour hand with the 24-hour scale on the dial, while also ensuring the minute hand is in the right place. Next, you'd push the crown to the second position and utilize the independently adjustable local hour hand to set your local time. And then by rotating the bezel and aligning the reference time zone city with the 24-hour scale, you then can see all the time zones around the world by reading the bezel at a glance. The presentation also offers applied and polished rectangular indices, a Dauphine hour hand, and a baton-style minute hand, in addition to the red GMT hand with its arrow tip. Luminescent material is also utilized on the indices and hands, which does help in darker environments, but is not very impressive when it comes to shining brightly. But now let's shift over to a really appealing point about this watch, and that's just its general wearability for a wide variety of wrists out there. Measuring in at 40.5 millimeters wide by 46.9 millimeters long and around 13.9 millimeters in thickness, the Decompression Worldtimer case presents a versatile set of dimensions that is likely going to work well on all but the smallest and largest of wrists out there. Despite the additional presence coming from the pops of color, I would say this watch wears even smaller than its proposed size, wearing closer to 39 millimeters if I had to give an approximate representation. The case is finished with mirror polishing essentially everywhere you look, with more of a rounded angle at the edge of the sloping lugs. The case sides are near vertical, with a signed screw-down crown standing out without the additional safety of crown guards. Between the crown and the screw-down case back, which is engraved with the Ocean Star Sea Star logo, the watch is capable of a diving-ready 200 meters of water resistance. Set between the odd number 21 millimeter lugs, the watch comes as standard with a pair of attachment options, including a tropic-style rubber strap with a milled pin buckle and an additional mesh bracelet with a sliding clasp. Always a point of pride with MIDO in this price range, the strap and the bracelet are excellent for the price point and really serve to elevate the feel of this design format. Beyond the case and finishing, the other standout feature here is going to be the movement on the inside. To get all of it out of the way up front, this watch is not a true Worldtimer, but rather a GMT watch that has been adapted with a bezel to present a measure of world time functionality. Disregarding the bezel, the Decompression Worldtimer is an excellent GMT watch. In this case, that's a very good thing because it does come with the ETA C07.661, which provides true GMT functionality, which basically means that you have the ability to change the local hour hand at the second position without affecting the movement of any other hands, including the second hand. This will also be used to change the date, can be done in both directions, both forward and back. And for the larger market of Swiss watches and really beyond, is one of the most attainable options you're going to find for a movement of this caliber. This watch also is going to have some changes to the gear train and the beat frequency to operate at 3 Hertz rather than 4 Hertz to allow that extended power reserve of 80 hours. In terms of general operation, again, 21,600 vibrations per hour, 3 Hertz. It does feature hacking and hand winding. Hacking stopping the second hand when you pull the crown to the farthest position, and a power reserve of 80 hours. We did test 2 of these variants here, one blue dial and one black dial. The blue dial variant kept time between -3 to -5 seconds a day, with the black coming in at 0 to +4 seconds a day. So now to unpack looking at these MIDO Ocean Star Decompression Worldtimers. So let's begin with some of the cons and then we'll shift into the pros. I think the first thing that comes up is this is a watch that is not very easy to read, both with its complexity as well as when it comes to just its visibility and actually being able to read it. It's a pretty funky design, and I don't think anybody was asking for this combination of scales and complication. And one other con that I'll mention is going to be the lume. Rather underwhelming for a watch that has more of an aquatic and diving type of theme. But now shifting over to the pros, and I think the first thing is, just like I mentioned, there's really nobody asking for this, that does come with a watch and design that is truly unique. There really isn't anything else like this. This decompression scale is very much MIDO and what they can own as their own, and combining it with a Worldtimer, although kind of quirky and out there, is something that's not done and does come together in a package that sure is a little bit out there, but to me still sticks the landing. You're getting a class-leading true GMT movement on the inside with some Worldtimer functionality, making it one of the most entry-level positioned watches in the world of Worldtimer watches. Finishing is quite solid on the bracelet. The strap is also well done. Water resistance of 200 meters, pop of color everywhere, very fun, eccentric, but still incredibly wearable with that 40 millimeter case that wears even smaller in practice with that lug to lug, and with a thickness that is pretty reasonable as well. So all in all, I was very excited about seeing this release. I think this is going to be one of the releases of the year from MIDO, and a watch that delivers on a lot of points that people were asking for. Smaller case, true GMT, Worldtimer functionality, good water resistance, but also combining it with some out there flair that maybe people weren't asking for, but it's a marriage that, in my opinion, works. Well, all right, guys, thank you again so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That does help out the channel. Also, if you are in the market for this watch, it is available on TeddyBaldassarre.com. TeddyBaldassarre.com is a full authorized dealer of 30 brands, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. And how we're able to fund all of our productions on all of our channels is through selling watches on our site. So I know you can buy a watch from pretty much anywhere, but we would love to have your business, and it allows us to keep doing what we're doing here. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.